Welcome to I Love the Library. When dealing with Mother Nature, there are things we can control and things we cannot control. I'd like to start out talking about the things that we cannot control. This year, our winter really didn't get started until the end of February, but we could be having a winter like they had in the Dakotas in 1997. This book chronicles the very difficult winter they had in the Dakotas that year. The snow started falling October 16th in the Black Hills. This foot of snow that they got was just a sneak peek of what they were going to end up with. On October 26th, a 3-day blizzard hit, and not just in the Black Hills, it was more widespread in South Dakota. And the snow was so heavy that it snapped power poles just like dominoes. And they had calves that were buried alive. And throughout that whole winter, ranchers really had a terrible time trying to keep their livestock alive. Most of the residents weren't ready for winter to even hit. They still were trying to get their hay in their sheds, and of course their wood piles needed to be replenished for the winter heating. They just ended up with one storm after another that winter and spring. As a matter of fact, an early April storm set some records. They had an electric cooperative that actually had every customer out of power at the same time. And the damage to the power poles and the lines had set a new record from 30 years before that. And on April 7th of that year, President Clinton actually declared it a disaster. So if you want to think about how great a winter we had this year, read this book. We're going to shift gears and we're going to talk about summer weather. This book is F5, Devastation, Survival, and the Most Violent Tornado Outbreak of the 20th Century. And this is by Mark Levine. And in case you're wondering, or in case you're curious, the year he's talking about is 1974. This one is Big Weather, Chasing Tornadoes in the Heart of America by Mark Svenvold. Now let's go to the things that we can control. We've all heard about invasive species in the news, mainly because our lakes here in this area are threatened by zebra mussels. This one is Unnatural Landscape, Tracking Invasive Species by Siradwil Turrill. And yes, she does actually have zebra mussels in here, so you can learn how they actually ended up in our area. This one is For Love of Lakes by Darby Nelson. And this one focuses on the lakes, ponds, and waters outside our very homes and their ecosystems. And Darby Nelson, who is the author of this book, he's a retired professor from Anoka Ramsey Community College. He's an ecologist, and he was in the Minnesota State Legislature, and he was a past board president of Conservation Minnesota. So this one, as you can see, has the orange tape, so it is a new book. So if you want to read something about a topic dealing with Mother Nature, come into the library and we'll see if we can find you a book. Hope to see you at the library.